Good morning. Today is a great example of no matter how long you've been doing this, technical issues still happen to everyone. I didn't think StreamYard was going to let me in. Surprised they finally did. And I have a ton of information to share with you guys today. So let's go ahead and get started. Today, our topic is inspiration and what to do if you don't know what to do. What do you do if you are out of ideas? What do you do if you've cycled through all the content you have and you're just dry? I mean, it happens. It happens all the time. Everybody needs at some point. There we go. Okay, let me see if I can kind of force it to. Okay, let's try that again. Today we're going to talk about what to do when you're out of ideas. I'm talking about find inspiration when you have been posting, and it happens all the time. It happens to everybody. Everybody gets a blog. So let's talk about where you can find ideas, new ideas, fresh ideas when you're totally out of ideas. Okay, first and foremost, other social media sites. Each social media site is basically set up to be its own search engine. So they all are going to have very different information and they're going to be discoverable in very different ways. Twitter is one of the best platforms to listen. Pinterest is amazing. You're going to get, if you Google a term, if you go search for the same term on Pinterest, going to very different information. Like as with Facebook and YouTube, they're all considered to be independent search engines. They're all going to give you very different information when you search for your topic or that terminology on that platform. Okay, number two, blogs. There is just a ton of information available through blogs. There is a website called alltop.com, ALLTOP.com, and it is a blog hub. It categorizes all these different blogs by industry. So you're going to have health and fitness, a lifestyle, a business, wedding, and you pull up that topic and you have 100 of the most popular blogs listed single page. So you kind of pull through there and get ideas based on category, based on subject matter. You can actually pull those specific blogs and use that information. So there's a ton of information on alltop.com. Number three, recycling content. And there are a bunch of different ways to recycle content so that you're not using it exactly the same way. If it's non-seasonal content, like obviously you wouldn't use Christmas in March, but if it's non-seasonal content, you can reuse 3 to 6 months. I'm not saying recycle everything in the same order, chronological order, not at all. But once in a while, you can go back and repost a popular post that you've used before. Statistically, it will get about the same number of likes and about the same amount of engagement. If it worked once, it will work again, statistically speaking. You can also go back. Here's some other ideas for you to recycle your own content. You can transcribe your video to a blog and then post your own blog information. You can pull a quote from a previous blog or video or graphic where you, if it, especially an infographic, if it has a ton of information, just pull out one fact, different graphic, and use new content. You can add different graphics to a previous blog to refresh it and present it as new information. You can use slides or a single slide from a presentation for a single image. You can convert a blog into a list. This can be particularly effective because, again, you're presenting the information in a brand new way. You can, let's see, what else do we have on here? You can convert your blog. You can go from audio to video. You can take, there are different ways, Otter AI and Wave, WAVE, I think that's right, spelled a little strangely, where you can convert from one to the other so that you're getting basically new content. Throwback Thursday, Flashback Friday, where you can go back to your own milestones for your own company. User generated content, I think, is a big one where people just forget that it's there. There are a lot of business owners who just don't check their user generated content, and that's a gold mine. Your third party endorsement really, really works. So if you have happy customers who've tagged themselves and checked in at your location, that's a great piece of content to use. Convert a blog to an infographic. So if you have the top 5 best What's a good one? Okay, you're a wedding vendor and you have the top 5 items that people do not want for their takeaway or for their parting gift. That would make a great infographic with really interesting icons on it. You can get into the why in the blog itself, but infographics do very much get shared. You can break down a list into single posts, do a countdown. This week, we're going to talk about the top 5 things that people don't want to take home from your wedding, and we're going to do one a day. That works. You can cross post from another platform. If you have an awesome post and it did well on Instagram, you can then go share it on LinkedIn or on Facebook so that you're getting extra traction out of that post. That is especially true of short form video. Testimonials translate everywhere. You can do them as a screen capture. You can do them as where you create your own graphics on Canva. You can get it on video and post it on YouTube and then share the link. There's a bunch of different ways to do that. Behind the scenes videos, people want to connect with other people. And anything that makes you more real behind the scenes images, people really connect to that. They want that. They want to know kind of how you do what you do. And then last but not least, to recycle your own content, other vendors, partners, employees, highlights for those people always do really well. Okay, now number 4, again, we're talking about where to find good content if you are out of inspiration. Google tools. And everybody can Google search. That's not hard. But Google Alerts set up for your industry can bring you information directly to your inbox that other people may not have access to. Or let me rephrase, they have access to it, but they don't know how to search for it correctly. Underscore search is going to be very different on Google than just a plain old keyword search. Than a plain old Google search. Keyword search, Google has a keyword search tool that works very well so that you can get additional information about that specific industry or your business related questions. A question-based search, you're going to get different information. If you type in what's the worst wedding nightmares, wedding horror stories, it's going to get very different. If you type in what's the worst case scenario for brides at a wedding, very different when it's a question-based search. Searches related that you're going to find at the bottom of your Google search. Also, people also ask at the bottom of the page when you Google search. And then, of course, Google News. And Google Images. If you're Googling a term or if you're Googling a phrase or even a question, if you check the news tab or the images tab, you're going to get different information. And a lot of people just don't think to do that. They'll do a Google search and that's it. And if they don't find it on the first page, they're done. So you want to be creative and unique. And that's a great way to do that. BuzzSumo is they curate content and they put all of the popular content kind of together in one site. And then one of my favorites of all time, well, 2 of my favorites, Answer the Public. It is a website where you get one search a day. You can go and type in, they don't want you to do a whole sentence, 1 or 2 keywords, and then it's going to give you a huge list of everything that has been searched for relating to that keyword on Google. And it looks to me like a flower, but each petal is a how, what, when, why, where, and then all the individual lines are the questions that have been asked. So it'll show you questions that are being asked that you may never have even thought of, that people are popular searches that people are looking for on Google itself. So Answer the Public. And if you do it correctly, you only need to do it like once a month anyway. So the fact that you only get one a day, that's not a big deal. And then of course, finally, and one of my favorite new things, ChatGPT or Bard. AI works. You can totally ask it for information and you're going to get a better answer if you ask a better question. So you can ask, what can I post on my social media? Okay, that's fine. But you can also ask it to generate a list of the top 10 most searched topics in your industry and build your content from that list. You just have to ask a better question. So that is it for us today. That's some suggestions for if you are dry and you need inspiration. We will be back next week to talk about how to tell if it's time to do a rebrand. We're going to talk about branding and why branding matters. And is it really time to redo your logo? Pros and cons of redoing that stuff too. So you guys, thank you so much for joining me. Oh yeah, Leah says ChatGPT is it. It's amazing. And if you haven't tried it, I highly recommend it. Just go sign up for an account, kind of play with it and get familiar with it. It's really cool. I am Karen Terradas with Social U, and I'm here to help. Thanks.